left Crash of the Titans. As a team, we really knew exactly what we wanted to do with the next game. And then, of course, fan mail starts pouring in. You do more research, you do more testing, and all that stuff came together and made it really clear to us that we were right in what we wanted to do. And what we wanted to do was get more from the monsters, so you could fight with them and you know, take over and control them and battle with them. So we put a whole bunch of features in the game that address that from a bunch of directions. First of all, you can locomote with the enemies. We've taken our guy Roller, who rolls up into a ball and used to have an attack where he would, you know, roll at you like a dash attack. He now has an infinite roll. So it's this total, like, wide open sonic speed mixed with, you know, precision rolling, mixed with total destructibility. Just this whole new form of locomotion. And Roller really speaks to, this game is also just a wide open game. It's the first non-linear Crash game. And we're calling it free romping instead of free roaming because it expresses Crash's agility and his acrobatic qualities of bouncing around the world. And we have another guy called Shirtle, who can now spin on his back and he just pinballs around, you know, with all these fodders around and just takes them out one by one. So all these different forms of locomotion. And then the second thing we did was turn them into tools. So they're actually changing the world. They actually affect the world around them. And we call them our key-bearing enemies because Crash has to jack on them in order to unlock a world. So Ratsicle is an easy example. He was our ice enemy from the last time. He can actually freeze, you know, a pond or freeze a chunk of water so that Crash can get across. We've got another guy, Phantom, who slows down time. So the whole world slows down, but Crash moves at the same speed. So enemies are actually tools who actually affect the world around you. And then because you're using those Titans all the time to change the world this way and to open up the new levels, we made them upgradable. So whenever you're jacked on an enemy, you're actually increasing their abilities. You're collecting mojo on their behalf, and they upgrade over time. So you grow this guy. Like, you invest in your favorite monster. Over time, you grow him. And so the key feature of the whole game is that you get to put him in your pocket and take him with you. So if you want to jack on a different enemy, or if Crash is going to go and do some of his new moves by himself, you pop the guy in your pocket, carry on, and then whip him out whenever you want and continue to sort of develop and grow it some more. And it makes a huge difference in the game. It's super fun. We've always been, we're famous inside Radical for sure, and we get lots of accolades on the street for our, you know, stylistic look. My art director said to me the other day, he said, every time a player loads up a room, I want them to feel like they're stepping into a painting. And so one thing we've always been really famous for is having our concept art, these beautifully realized paintings, actually translate perfectly into the game. So when we put them side by side, people are always amazed that from the paintings we put on them, the texturing and the shaders and the lighting, they actually look so much like our original concept art. Co-op is always such a fabulous feature for us. I mean, I've always thought of co-op as a non-intimidating way for non-players to get into a game, to start playing a game. The inception of that idea was for really, really younger players to be able to get on the other character and have, you know, dad take you through a more difficult part of the game. And so the only thing that we didn't like about that was that it was passive. You were literally just riding on the other player. So what we did this year was change it up so that you can shoot all the stuff in the environment. So you can actually shoot some enemies and give them some damage before your partner comes along to, you know, beat them up. And then to take it another step, we put on the joystick, we put a little mini game where you just sit there, you're shooting with one button, and with the other you just move the stick until you feel a little buzz. And if you nail that hot spot while you're shooting, you know, something enormous comes out, like a huge cow you suddenly shoot out, or you shoot out a grand piano or a submarine or something. Whereas if you just keep on firing regularly, you'll be shooting out chickens and smaller things. So lots of fun, lots of feathers and beef flying through the world. We actually measure our game in gags per square meter. So we make sure that whenever you're moving through the game, there's always either a physical gag or some kind of situational humor or some kind of voice gag.
This Hall of Freaks and Mutants is perfect for the Evil School Science Fair!
We were so happy with Crash of the Titans. It did fabulously. It's gone platinum in Europe. It's gone classic in Europe. It's testament to, you know, the abilities of VG, and particularly our people out in the territories, our salespeople, our distribution people, to, you know, to get this game out into the hands of the people who really want it. And I think we did a fantastic job on Titans. I think they did a fantastic job on Titans. And Mind Over Mutant is just going to give them another opportunity to even go beyond what we did with Titans.
Victory feels so good. So good!
So Mind Over Mutant is going to come out at exactly the right time to be on everyone's holiday list, exactly the way we did last year. And I think it's really building on the strength of Crash of the Titans, and people, we're sort of front and center in people's minds again. And certainly the team just has this enormous passion for Crash, and you can see it in the product. I mean, it always happens that way in fashion and cars and whatever it is. The people who really get excited about a particular project in any kind of industry, and particularly in entertainment, then that's when you get really fabulous things happening. And this team is absolutely galvanized around Crash, and they, this was a reasonably short amount of time to be able to make a second game, and to have a feature sequel the way this is, and not just a straight content and storyline sequel, to actually be upgrading the number of features that we have in the game. It's just fabulous, and these guys are just working their butts off, and it's a great opportunity to just really blow out what we did on Titans.
Now, run along to the other side of the island. I've got new evil plans to start.
So with Crash of the Titans, that was the first time that Radical had the opportunity to take Crash back to some of his roots. So put some good platforming in there, upgrade his moveset, and give him this cool new combat hook, which was jacking the enemies, taking them over, and controlling them. And then after we finished that game, we knew exactly what we wanted to do with Mind Over Mutant. We wanted to give Crash the ability to upgrade separately from the enemies. So Crash upgrades, and when he's jacked on an enemy, they also upgrade. And then from there, as you're sort of growing and developing your enemy and moving through the story missions with him, you get the opportunity to put him in your pocket and take him with you. So you kind of, forge this relationship with them. The challenges for us were really, for one, we decided to lead on the Wii. So the Wii SKU, we really wanted to blow out the graphics on it. No one's really spent a lot of time on the rendering capabilities of that machine, because of course most people are working with the PS3 and the Wii, where there's an enormous gap. We've always had a philosophy with the gestures on the Wii that gamers don't particularly want to do flourishy gestures when a button press will do. But you can also, we augment a lot of the moves with the gesture. So a flick of the wrist will get you a jack, or a button press will get you a jack, that kind of thing. And then the big, grandiose special attacks are definitely like, pounding on your chest with the Wii and all that kind of stuff. We've got some very cool new enemies in this game. We've upgraded almost all our guys. Like Ratsicle was a poster child in the last game. He's now got the ability to actually freeze land so that you can cross it. And his ability is he's able to slow down time, so the whole world slows down, except he and Crash, when Crash is jacked on him, move in real time, so they can speed through platforming puzzles, like a huge spinning fan. They can actually slow it down and get through a chink in the fan sort of thing. The game is on PS2 and on the Wii and the 360, and it's also on the PSP and the DS, and it's out this fall in store shelves. Pre-order now.
Hey, we are back in Sierra's booth talking to Joe McGinn from Sierra Entertainment, and you are about to walk us through the latest Crash Bandicoot game, Crash Mind Over Mutant. So, Joe, take it away.
Well, this is like a free-roaming follow-up to last year's game, Crash of the Titans. The hook of the game is you can control every creature. Only this year, it's a free-roaming experience. You can take any creature anywhere in the world. And as you can see, the creatures themselves are now part of the platforming experience. It's not a beat 'em up. It's not just a beat 'em up anymore. So this is a part of the game world where the Rhino Roller is the only creature who can get through here. Crash's help. There's over 12 playable creatures in the game, each of which have their own special platforming abilities, as well as incredible combat powers. You can take any creature with you anywhere in the game. So you can put a creature in your pocket, and that allows you to take any creature anywhere in the game. So it really has incredible replayability. If you take different creatures at different parts of the game, you'll find new gameplay opportunities opening up that weren't there when you had someone else. So the game is really all about exploration and replayability, and it's ended up being a massive game. It's turned out actually bigger than we expected that we could make in a year.
And story-wise, what's going on? We remember what happened in the last one.
Well, Neocortex has really decided to reassert himself as the most evil genius of all evil game geniuses, because that's really what he's all about. This is one of Crash's new moves here. Wall running, but still very quick and agile, like Crash always is. Ooh, almost fell. And so Cortex has taken over not only all the enemies in the game, but also Crash's friends, like Coco and Crunch. So you have to save them as well as trying to take over all these creatures. He's even sent his niece Neocortex to evil public school. He's no longer willing to pay for the Madame Amberley's private evil school. So I can pull my mutant back out after I've done the Crash stuff. There's incredible breakables and destruction throughout all the levels, as always. And another real reason you want to take the creatures with you is because they're all upgradable now. The more you use a creature, the more that creature will get upgraded. So if I'm playing as Crash here and getting the collectibles, I'm actually working on upgrading Crash. But when I'm riding this creature, he's the one who's going to get upgraded from the collectibles. That also gives an incredible amount of replayability to the game.
And so we're in an ice level right now. What kind of variety can we expect from the levels?
Well, the levels really reflect the powers of the creatures, because the creatures are part of the platforming experience now. So there are creatures who can control objects with their minds, and they have levels where they can move things around to solve puzzles. There's creatures who can slow down time, and so they have levels that are all about speed, except these things are going so fast you have to slow them down to be able to make it through the platforming puzzles.
And so what's going on here?
Well, I've triggered one of the story scenes. This is really a first for Crash Bandicoot as well. Each of the movies in the game is done with a 2D animation style, but there's several different animation styles throughout the movies. So this is sort of a 50s film noir horror style. There's a couple movies like this. There's Dragon Ball Z spoofs. There's all sorts of really funny movie styles. Like there's even a South Park movie, but with the Crash characters, so you get to see the Crash characters in all these different animation styles. So the fans are really gonna enjoy that. And I think this is actually a GameSpot exclusive. I believe this is the first time that these movies have been shown.
Very cool. And so when is the game coming out, and what platforms?
It's coming out in October for pretty much everything under the sun. Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 2, PSP, and Nintendo DS.
All right, well, thank you very much, Joe. It looks like a lot of fun, and a little goofy, too, which is what we want out of Crash. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There you go. That is it for Crash Mind Over Mutant on the Comic-Con show floor.